And we are live. You can catch us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Instagram. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And we'll be right back with you, Howlers.
When it comes back, do we all howl?
How's over Baz? I'm Jacob Casas.
I'm Rico Savage.
I'm Jessica Q, and shout out to our sponsor, Barely Broke.
And
also, if you guys want to attend Electrofest this weekend, we are doing a giveaway. So keep watching our page and stay tuned.
And today's episode is called Beer 30. And we got a special guest today. This is our first brewery in on the show, so how for that right there. How, Rico? Come on, let's hear it.
I'm not drunk yet.
So we're gonna pass it over to you. Let you introduce yourself. Tell them who you are.
So my name is Eric Brummel. I'm one of the co-founders of Route 30 Brewing Company here in Riverside, or out in Riverside. And we've got 2 locations. One of them we just recently opened in November. We got a kitchen now, so great little spot. And I brought some beers for us to share today. I brought a Hazy Day, which is our flagship IPA, especially any of those Haze boys out there. And then I brought our Citrus City wheat, just a nice, easy drinking orange wheat.
Okay. Speaking of open, you know what I'm saying? Like,
we don't have to wait.
We might as well drink during the show. You know what I mean?
Let's go.
That's
I'm
popping.
going to go with the wheat.
I'm gonna go with this
I'm
one.
definitely going with a Hazy Day. Thank you.
Oh, you drunk already?
I haven't drank in like 5 months, people. So I'm having one
It's
beer.
been a solid hour.
One,
Right.
and I'm downing the whole thing as fast as possible, so I get a head change.
He's not playing.
I'm joking.
Cheers.
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 Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Cheers to Route 30.
Yes, sir.
So good.
That is good. Okay, so let's just start with this. Tell us about this beer.
Hazy Day, man, we've had that on for probably 5 years now, maybe a little more, and it was the first hazy IPA we ever made. Hazies were just starting to become a thing. We were one of the first in IE to make a hazy, and it went over really well, and ever since then it's been our flagship.
Oh, you were one of the first in the IE, huh? To
Mm-hmm.
do that beer?
Yeah, absolutely.
How long you guys been around?
2015.
Okay.
So when we started the business, 2016 is when we opened.
Okay.
January 1st, so we're on year 8 right now.
Nice.
What were you doing before you started?
I was a welder, metal fabricator for 8+ years.
Oh, okay.
I went to the Sheriff's Academy and graduated. I never actually ended up serving. I was self-sponsored through. My welding job called me back, and while I was there, I fell in love with beer. My
Welders
business,
love beer.
they do love beer. Everyone in metal
He's not an
fabrication.
alcoholic. He just loves
I'm a welder too, dude, so
Oh, all right.
I weld.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah, so Tom and I started brewing beer in my mom's garage, and we were lucky enough to run into someone that not only believed in us, but was financially prepared to see us make our dreams come true. And so we took the jump into ownership, and it's been great, man.
So you got like an investor, basically, type thing?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys were able to get an investor. That's cool.
Yeah, we weren't, 25 years old when we started the business. No bank.
Yeah.
no bank is taking. I got a car. Like, I had no collateral. You know what I mean? So
what were you brewing beer like in your garage?
yeah,
and that
we
kind of
were
stuff?
brewing beer in the garage for 4 years. Started off as just like a 5-gallon extract batch, which is you just put like this syrup and water and boil it. It was kind of boring, honestly, but most home brewers start off. And then we got into all grain. We bought like a cooler and used a refrigerator hose to like filter out the grain, and that's how we were making beer, literally in a cooler. And then from there we just kept building up, and we eventually had 3 15-gallon kettles, and I actually welded up a little homebrew structure.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I used my fabrication where I worked to make like a little structure to hold all the kettles, and built the burners into it and whatnot.
Did you build some dope ass shit? Like some, you know what I mean? Because you have to have all those in your.
I mean, it worked. I'm more of a function over fashion kind of guy.
Yeah.
Everything was very square
Hit it
and
with the
symmetrical.
hammer, if it doesn't break, it's fine.
Oh no, it was aluminum. I welded it.
So was it one of those things like how you see like in the movies with with the what is it? The when they used to make the whiskey in the woods and stuff. It was like one of those type of setups. And
Something like that, yeah. And it's 3 stainless kettles,
Yeah.
just gravity fed. We didn't use pumps, so we had to make sure each tier was higher than the next, and then ferment it in my bedroom.
So what was the first beer?
making
Sounds a
hooch.
little weird. He ferments it in his bedroom.
That's right.
So what was the first beer you like that you made that you named that still you guys have?
Colorado Cream Stout. Yeah, that's a favorite of mine. So it's a cream stout, which means there's lactose in the beer. It kind of gives it like a smooth and silky mouthfeel. And it all started because my brother-in-law and my sister lived in Colorado. So I went out there to Denver for Christmas, and he took me to hit all the breweries. And I found this beer called Cowtown Milk Stout at a brewery out there. And I had never had a milk stout, sweet stout, nothing. It was delicious. So when I came back, and I told Tom, I was like, we got to brew one of these. And so we put a recipe together and made it, and it came out great. And we were excited when we opened the brewery because we were like, this thing's got to go on nitro because it'll be so much better.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so we do a
beer
nitro
is
pour
so
on
good.
that.
I love
And
nitro.
So how does
to
that
this-
work when you do that?
Put it on nitro.
Yeah.
So it's a different tap. It's got a little diffuser in it with tiny little holes, and you actually don't carbonate the beer before you serve it like you would normally. So it's flat to start with, and when it's pushed through those little holes, it's infused with the nitrogen. And that's why sometimes you get a super foamy pour. It's hard to dial in, but that's why those are so smooth because there's no real carbonation in it.
And they're stronger.
No,
No, they're not stronger.
They're not stronger. Typically,
man.
stouts are just stronger in general. That's
Yeah,
probably
I
why.
thought it was like a stronger style beer too. But I love the nitro. Like
Oh,
flavor
it's
to that.
delicious
Yeah.
because a nitrogen bubble is actually 100 times smaller than a CO2 bubble,
Oh, really?
and they're denser, so they don't pop.
How
so
did
you
they
don't
even
get that
come up
fizz.
with that? Like I remember when I first was going to breweries, and they were telling me about that. It was like forever ago, right?
Yeah.
But I was like, how did they even come up with something like that for beer?
I don't know how they came up with it, but I know why. It was to mimic cask scales. So back in the day, when you had to like pull a handle to draw beer off of a wooden cask or a metal cask, like they still kind of do that in England a little bit. You kind of get that kind of pour where it looks a little flat. It's not very fizzy. It's got a nice thick head, but it's not good for the beer to do that because when you pull from a cask, you introduce oxygen.
Yeah.
And so they created nitro pours to mimic that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Guinness led the way on that. Probably is where that comes from. I don't know for sure, but
So you were saying you were a welder.
Yeah.
And now it sounds like you were doing brewery before anything. Like you sound like you know everything you're talking about. Like, so did you have to study all this? Before, or did you know about
I
beer
read
already?
several books as a home brewer. Tom
too?
and I did some research before opening the brewery, but to be honest, I'm not trying to hurt the home brewers' feelings out there. We learned more in the first 6 months of brewing as a professional brewer than we ever did as home brewers. Like, it does not translate. It's not even close.
Oh,
and,
really?
And volumes don't scale evenly. Like we had a pale ale recipe that we thought was going to be fire, and we're like, this is going to take over the California.
Like reading and doing it is two different things. That was-
Yeah. And so when we took that recipe, when we had from home brewers and made it on a professional level, we had to multiply the recipe by 10, and it came out
didn't
not
come
even close.
No.
And it wasn't that good. And that's when it was a harsh reality of like, everything we were doing is not going to translate to what we're doing now, and we have to relearn that. And every time we've upscaled on the system, that's been a thing. Like, we're on our 4th system now, and we've upsized that many times, and each time you're basically relearning. That was our biggest fear with this new location. It was like, it was going to be the same water because the salts and the minerals in the water is important. So luckily we still have the same water source, but whole new system and volumes. And, like, I
it's
hope
a
I
lot
can.
larger, right? So this new
Yeah.
location,
Yeah,
your
we can
systems
produce
are
about 30 barrels or 30 kegs at a time,
30 kegs compared to what were you brewing before?
10 to 15.
dang.
Oh, so it's like
It's a big
huge
difference.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we were a little worried about, because at that point we had been open for 7 years. Like, well, we have a following already. They
And you gotta
expect
stay
a certain
consistent.
thing, and
Yeah.
but so far, so good. So,
Is it as fun as it looks being a brewer and owning
Yes.
It is.
I mean, for the
Getting
most
drunk
part,
every day, hell yeah. No.
I mean, it
No.
looks like it'd be like the
you get
funnest-
over that after the first 3 months. But there was a phase.
So you're like a scientist in a way because you have to make sure
Botanist
that
for beers.
you're
Yeah.
mixing and
I've always said it's a good mix between science and art.
yeah.
Are
Right?
you-
It's like cooking. It really is like cooking.
Measurements.
Are
and
you still
everything.
coming up with the new flavors, or do you have people that do that for you now?
No, that'll be us.
That's so you guys.
And it's kind of just what we're feeling. Like, well, what do we want to make now? And most of the time it's IPAs, but it's like, well, we got all these different hops that are available to us now that we didn't have before, and it's like, well, how can we play with these?
Let's talk about hops.
Okay.
Tell
She
the
gets all
audience
excited,
that-
excited about the beer.
Yeah, heck
Hops,
yeah.
the cousin plant of cannabis.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know if you
right?
didn't know that. Yeah. So, and just like cannabis, it's got different oils and things. And there's two main things in hops that you pay attention to, and those are your alpha and your beta acids. And alpha acids will make your beer bitter. Beta acids is where all the flavor and aroma is. And from there, in the beta acids, there's all these different compounds. And some of them are floral or citrusy or earthy, garlicky. They're not all great.
Yeah.
Tobacco, stone fruit, things like that. So every hop is different. It really is. And most of the hops today are all bred from different hops. Like, at this point, a new hop is basically just a new plant off of a mother that's been crossed with someone else. But when you look at beer and you're making a recipe, you think about balance between sweetness and bitterness. And so how sweet is the beer you're making? What's the style of beer you're making? And that'll decide how many hops or what type of hops or when you add them to the boil. Because those alpha acids I mentioned, they're bitter, right? But they're not very soluble. It take a long time to get into solution. And so if you want a very bitter beer, you need to put your hops in early in the boil. If you're just going for more aromatics and flavor, you'll put almost no hops in the boil and hit it all at the end. Because those beta acids are volatile and they'll leave the liquid almost immediately. So most of our beers, we just whirlpool. So we'll actually cut the boil, add the hops, cap the tank, and then we'll just spin the beer. And the point of spinning the beer is you make all those hops become a cone at the bottom so they don't end up in the fermentation tank when you pump it out of the boil kettle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like the process of when you guys decide that you want to make a new beer.
Mm-hmm.
What's the process? Like, how do you decide, how does that work?
I would say top down. Like, what's the beer we want to have in front of us? How do we achieve that?
Okay.
And then you go down from there. Okay, we want to do a clean lager. Okay, well, that's going to be mostly Pilsner malt. And what kind of hop would that be? A noble hop or Cascade or something like that, but not a lot of it, just enough to knock down the sweetness of the beer. And then, what kind of yeast are we going to use? So it's top down. You start in mind with what's the product I want in front of me, and then how do I achieve
go
that?
from there.
Damn, I'm getting a head change from this already. I haven't drank in like 5 months, so it's
It's
different.
like 6.3%, right?
Yeah.
Dirty will do that
I don't
to you.
get. It would take a long time to give me a head change back in the day. Long time.
I've been at home, so I've been drinking maybe a little too much.
You're like, oh shit, the baby's crying again. I'm drinking.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, by the way, congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, 6 weeks
very
in,
excited.
right?
Yep.
How's that
yep.
going?
It's good. It's got its ups and its
Different.
downs, But
Your first?
this is my first child, yeah. So little
Oh,
baby
wow.
girl, her name is Audrey.
Oh, you're done. My baby
Cheers.
girl's name is Aubrey.
Thank you, man.
I have a baby girl.
Oh,
too. Her
really?
name's Aubrey. Yeah. Yeah. Cheers to that. We gotta like cheers to your daughter, man. That's brand new.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Yeah, it's a life change, that's for sure. Taking it day by day. It's getting easier and easier. Like recently picking her up, like it's easier to
Were you
call her.
nervous
She's
at
starting to
first?
recognize us.
Yeah.
I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I just knew I wasn't ready for it, and I was right. And
We're
no,
never
but
ready. I don't care if we think we are. We're never ready for that.
yeah, so people kept asking me, "Are you ready?" I'm like, if I said yes, would you believe me? Like, I don't know. So, but it's been cool. One foot in front of the other,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you opened your second location or your newest location in November.
That's right.
So let's talk about that. Coming into this because it was already.
It was already a brewery, and it had recently closed, and we were fortunate enough to have been in the process of selling our location. Like, we had someone who was interested. We had outgrown the space, and it was like, we need to move on from this. And we actually had a plan, and we deviated from that plan when this brewery became available because it's standing there, ready to go. We were going to build out from the ground. And yeah, it was
So it saved you a lot of money that it was already. No.
I don't know about that. It saved us a lot of pain. Just having it had a kitchen, it was already built and permitted for the most part, and tanks were already in. Like, instead of having to go purchase a lot of equipment and install it, it was already standing.
Ready
So
to
it was
go.
more turnkey.
Okay.
It was probably
That's cool.
definitely more expensive, but it was more turnkey. Had we gone with the other plan, we would not have been open at the same rate that we got open. And the location had been around for 10 years. People knew where it was, you know, and it was close to home for us. I think it's only 3 miles from our old location.
Nice.
It's close.
So we bring a lot of other entrepreneurs on this podcast, and we go over like just different things, like just so like viewers know like how much it would cost to open up a brewery, or like what would you pay? What do you think like for a brewery, like what did it cost you to do the first one?
So the first
Like,
one,
on the ballpark, you know, you
Well,
don't
no,
gotta give
I'll
a-
be honest. The first one, we took $100,000 loan,
Okay.
but we started out real small.
Okay.
Real small, and that was actually we were purchasing something that existed, but it was very tiny. So it was about 70,000, and we asked for 30 in operating capital, and that's a very cheap entry point. And I'm glad we went that way, because had we opened larger, I don't know that we would have made it. It was so small that it was okay to fail every now and then. It's good that we were that small when we had a year-long learning curve of how to
It
make
sounds like
beer.
it'd be a lot better being smaller, and that your learning curve should be in something smaller, because you don't know you're trying to create the brand, create your
Exactly.
Yeah,
and I think
so-
it gives you an opportunity. When we opened, we didn't have employees, so we did everything. So
Yeah.
as we brought in employees, we knew what needed to be done. We had done it before. I'm not asking you
Sounds
to do
very
something
smart.
I
to
hadn't
go.
done in the past. It's been hard as we get more and more employees to kind of let go of these things.
Yeah.
Um,
How many
but-
employees do you guys have now?
off the top of my head, I think 14, maybe 13, 14. Yeah, including Tom and myself, so 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we started with none. We had one for like a year, and then 2, 3, and then
Slowly
just kind of grown.
grew, yeah.
Well, especially now with food. In the past, before
You
November.
guys sell food, or you guys have food trucks?
No, we sell food.
No,
we have
wow.
a full
We have a
kitchen at the
restaurant,
new
yeah.
location.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's a whole nother
it's a whole brew
steady
pub.
income
No, I know
coming
it's we're back into that learning curve again, because
Yeah.
spent 7 years getting down how to run a brewery. It's like, well, now we're restaurateurs,
Yeah.
and we are not restaurateurs, so we're figuring it out as we
But
go.
that's good to get out of your comfort zone.
I think
So it's
that's
a little,
great.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
So
Yeah,
it's been a lot of
I think that's great. I mean, learning. I mean, you're really like testing your guys' self too, and
Yeah.
and growing,
Well,
learning.
and the fun is just doing something new. Like we
Yeah.
had it down, and that was great, and things were consistent and easy. But I find when I get into like that complacency and like I know what I'm doing when I come in today,
It gets boring.
it's a little boring. And so now
Yeah.
we've added this other element.
Yeah.
While it makes it harder, it's like this is cool, man, and we're doing something that I never thought we'd ever try to do.
You're really calm. You're like a true entrepreneur. Like the way you come across is real calm, but like you're testing yourself. Like
Yeah.
right off the bat, you're like, "Hey, this is getting boring. Let's spice this up a little bit.
Yeah,
Try something
and it's
new."
something we faced for many years. People coming to our place like, "Oh, you don't have food?" And it's like, "Well, this is a no call or
That's
snap
funny.
call. Like we need to just jump into it and
Yeah.
try to offer food."
Yeah.
I've heard brewery owners that have kitchens, complain about the kitchen, and I can see where that comes from. But having owned a brewery without a kitchen, you need the kitchen. I think
Yeah.
it's a massive advantage.
Wouldn't you say that it helps increase the sales, and not just because of the food, but
Yeah.
now when people can eat, they're going to probably
Stay
drink
longer.
more, stay longer.
They get
spend a
more
little bit
beers.
more
The
money.
food sells the beer. No one's getting rich off selling a burger.
Yeah.
But it moves more beer, and I feel better about selling my beer now because 7 years we just had beer and maybe some beef jerky. It's hard not to overserve someone when there's nothing for them to eat. Now we got pretzels, like pretzel bites or
Yeah.
a burger or wings. Like have a little food with those 4 or 5 beers you're about to drink.
Yeah.
And then get home safe.
And you had mentioned earlier something really exciting, something about Disneyland.
Oh, that's what I wanted to get to.
Yeah, we landed Disneyland. So Tom and I, that was a cool experience. We got to go to Disneyland behind the magic, as they say,
Yeah.
and went downstairs with a couple of managers and got to drink the beers. And they ended up choosing Hazy Day, so that starts May 1st
May 1st.
for 3 months. And then while I was out, Tom went again for the fall offering, and they picked up our Crushtoberfest, our Marzen that we make. So we've got 6 months under our belt coming up at Disneyland.
Oh, 6 months. How's that check? I mean, just ballpark. Like, how's that something like
Well,
that?
I'll let everyone else do the math, but a keg is around $200 or more, and they estimating 11 to 12 kegs a week. Could be more, could be less.
That's dope.
That's good. Now, okay. When I think of Disneyland, I think of no alcohol, other than they open that Star Wars area, right?
California Adventure.
People get
Yeah.
Well, California
now.
Adventure,
But
but
now that
Disneyland, they show
Disneyland.
they're showing pictures of margaritas and stuff now. And
Yeah.
But
You're
California
serving more
Adventure,
alcohol
right?
At at Disneyland too now. I know.
Yeah, so we're going to be in California Adventure.
Oh,
I should
California
say
Adventure,
that. There
okay.
are 2 places to drink in Disneyland. I think it's the Star Wars
Yeah,
place
Star
and the
Wars.
Blue Bayou, which is that
That
restaurant in the
restaurant.
Pirates place.
Yeah, the Pirates of the Caribbean, that's right.
But we'll be in California Adventure at
That's
Hollywood
exciting.
Lounge.
To like do a deal with Disney's a big deal, dude.
I know
It's not a small deal.
no,
it's big.
it's cool. We pinch ourselves and
Yeah.
can't wait for it to start. So we'll start up a whole distribution when that happens because the sales from that's enough for us to go acquire a vehicle and hire a full-time salesman. Basically, when you're not delivering to Disney, you're selling beer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you should make everybody at your brewery wear Mickey Mouse ears that day.
You know what he's saying? When we brewed the test batch, I wore Mickey. I have a Mickey hat with ears on it, and I wore it during the brew for social media.
And then afterwards, when they're drunk, put the goofy one on. The goofy hat.
Right? So,
Yeah. So I mean, you just got Disneyland, but where else are you guys in? Like, are you guys in any of the stores?
we
Where you
kind of
guys-
backed off the distribution once we got the downtown location. We went for the retail dollar over this, and we wanted to build a brand because
Okay.
it's like it's a lot easier to sell a beer to someone once they know who you are. Walking in, they've never heard of you. It's a little harder, and so we had a decision to make in 2019. It was either open a larger brewery and get into distribution, or open a second retail location. And so that's when we opened our downtown location on Michigan Avenue, because we went the route of, well, let's get the retail margin, which is much larger, and then continue to build the brand in a central location. And then when we do go into distribution, people should know our name. It should be easier to sell the beer. So with that being said, we're very selective right now because when we don't have a lot to distribute, it's more about the quality of the account over quantity of accounts. So we've got a golf course, Oak Quarry Golf Course, not far from here.
And like it's
And,
craft beer, right? So there it's
yeah.
a difference too. Like when you go to distro, can you explain to everybody about how that looks? When you're like Hanger 24.
Well,
sorry, I
right
don't
now
mean
it's
to-
extremely competitive.
Yeah.
right
And
now.
it takes a lot of accounts to become profitable. I mean, a lot of breweries distribution until you get to a certain level is more marketing than anything else.
Yeah.
It's kind of like having the food. Like it's probably going to break even, but people heard our name, know who we are, they see us, and it's another chance for people to go, oh, Route 30, where's this, and bring them to the tap room where the margin is. Yeah. But it's extremely competitive right now. Market's flooded with breweries. We have over 1,000 breweries in California at the moment.
Oh, just in California. Wow.
It's like 6,000 or 7,000 nationwide, and 1,000 of them are in our state.
California.
How many are downtown? Besides you guys?
Downtown, one other brewery, Stone Church Brewing.
Oh, that's right.
Heroes isn't a
They're
brewery?
like,
Oh, Heroes is a brewery. I take
Oh,
that
Heroes
back.
is a
Yeah,
brewery.
so 2. In the city of Riverside, I think we're up to 7. You
Okay.
got Carbon Nation, Your Rail, Packing House, Thompson Brewing.
Yeah.
But
Stone
you're getting an
Church.
award from the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, we got a call from the Riverside Greater Chambers of Commerce last week that they were selecting us to be Business of the Year.
That's so awesome.
And
That is dope.
yeah.
Cheers to
Yeah,
that.
another cheers.
Congratulations.
Another reason to drink, right?
So excited for that. The chamber has been amazing to us over the years. Been
Really?
a lot of help. Yeah, if you own a business in any city, you should get involved with the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
because
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'm involved with the Fontana Chamber of
yeah,
Commerce.
they've gone to bat to me before. There's
Like
been
what,
times
like-
I've brought things to them and they're like, "We can't help you," but there's been other times they're like, "Let me make a call."
Like what happened? Like, give me a little instance or like a little example, because I mean, I think people that own businesses should hear this stuff, because a lot of businesses do not get involved with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's just a little example.
It was a disagreement between us and the city on a permitting issue, and basically the chamber helped us shed light on it to the city in a way that we hadn't. Basically showing, this was an accessory use for the kitchen, and they ended up saving us. We were gonna have to go through MEPs, like mechanical, electrical, plumbing drawings. Hiring an architect to do all that. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars and months of time by one meeting was saved, and so well worth the dues and well worth.
and I
being a
think
part of
that's
it.
what kind of scares people off is that initial investment. What is it,
It
like
does,
$400,
especially when
$500?
you're small. Like when we were real small, $450 a year. I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do for me? Like,
Yeah.
but I think it took us 3 years to become a member, and then we started doing the events with them, like host when they do their golf tournament. We bought a hole and would serve beer on the hole, and it's just another way to immerse yourself in the community that surrounds you. It's one of the few ways. Excuse me.
It's the beer. Stop.
it's the beer. It's a compliment.
That's a compliment right there, guys.
And it's just one of the few ways to immerse yourself with other business owners, and you find ways to network, right?
Yeah.
And so I think it brings a lot of value. And if a membership due is steep for your business, even if it's small, it might be something that you consider. Yeah.
So I wanted to get into, because I like to ask a series of questions for entrepreneurs, because we get so many different answers. And I think that asking you this, we get some different answers too, because you're a whole different genre that we have not even interviewed yet. But according to like House Over Bass, like that's what our brand is. Basically, it means leaders over followers,
Right.
wolves over sheep. You know. So I wanted to ask you a series of questions. So like number one, like what is leadership to you? Because your leadership is everybody has the way they lead in their business, and your business is different from the ones that we've had on. So what would you consider leadership is in your business, or as for you?
For me, leadership, I would say, comes down to a lot of just, you kind of go in first type of thing. Like I said, I've never asked an employee to do something that I haven't already done. And I wouldn't. And just being there for your people. I mean, at the end of the day, you take the heat, right? When things go bad, it falls on you. When things go good, it's usually because of the people that, it's your job to set them up for success. And so, I've never really looked into it too much. Our management style is kind of to just let people do their thing, like we're 34 and that's pretty young in this world. I have people that work for me that are older than me, and they've been in this industry longer than I have. They might know something I don't. And so, we don't completely let go. Like if something's not going the way we want, there's course correction given. But I think a lot of being a business owner is hiring the right people to be in the right position. And when you do that, not too much leading is needed. And
you trust them.
Yeah.
You gotta
So it's
trust
all
them.
about, hiring the right people is so important, and putting them in the right position and making sure they have the tools to succeed. That's kind of, you're almost orchestrating, you know what I mean? So, and I think we've done a good job at the most part for that. I'm not, we don't bat 1,000, but that's okay. No one does. And, but right now, we have an amazing team. They all step up when we need them to, and they do a great job. Our location managers are awesome. All our tap room people are awesome. Our kitchen guys are, that's my favorite place to hang out.
The kitchen.
It reminds me of being in the shop when I was a metal fabricator. Because, you're away from the customers. There's a little bit of shop talk going down. But, I think leadership is just doing your best to make the right decisions and making sure you have the right people in the right places. And just kind of watching that grow and then giving it its course correction. I've always attributed this business and the way it's grown. I'm like, it feels like it's a train on the rails, and my job is just to keep it on the rails, And
Has that been?
Doing a great job. Yeah.
Has that been difficult for you? Like, have you gone do some trials trying to build this thing? And
Oh, we've made plenty of mistakes, and it's okay to mess up. You learn from it, And I've had harebrained ideas before, and we try something, and then a year later, I'm like, don't like the way that's going.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna back off of that. We did a mug club for a while, and I had multiple breweries like, don't get into that, and we did.
What is that?
And
Like mug?
yeah, so we had like a membership group.
Oh, okay.
And there's an annual fee, and it was a lot of fun, honestly. And a lot of people that members are great regulars of ours, people that we love. We've known them for a long time. But it was a lot more work than we anticipated, and so especially the last year, it felt like we were just kind of letting them down. Like we weren't delivering on the things we promised, and it just puts us in a bad light. And we just had too much on our plate, and we just bit off too much. And so it was like we can't keep doing this, because I don't want to like take your money in good faith and then again not deliver on everything we said we would.
Yeah.
Especially with a kitchen and distribution opening up now, there's no way we could have properly managed it. So it was a thing we did for 2 years, and
At least you
it
tried
was
it.
fun. And
Right.
then it was like, this is not for us. This isn't working out. And at the end of the day, I think we're letting these people down. So let's cut it out. And brunch was another one. We tried to do brunch.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How'd that
So
go?
anyone who's listening, I'm so sorry, but brunch is coming to an end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just not. there's no shopping near us, and I think a lot of people when they go to brunch, it's because they're gonna go do something after. But we're kind of on an island out there,
Yeah.
and
They could go shooting though.
yeah,
I don't know if I want to go shooting up there.
not
Been
everyone.
drinking.
We do get a lot of
It's not a good idea.
Well, there's a shooting
Shooting range. Right
It depends
outside.
what order you do it in. But the point being that we've tried things, they don't work out, and then we just again course correct, figure it out from
What's
there.
your vision from here? Like you had a vision when you started, but now do you have a vision like pretty clear where you want to take this now?
I don't
don't?
honestly. No, I never thought I'd be here.
One day at a
Yeah.
time type thing.
Yeah, I mean, when we opened it up, Tom and I always talked like, oh, it'd be cool if we had like a pizza oven and a 7-barrel brew house. Like that was the thing. Well, I have a full kitchen and a 10-barrel brew house. So we're
surpassed
further
that.
than we
Further than your
ever
vision.
thought we would get, and it's been 8 years, and so. I guess from that I learned like, well, if I have a vision, I might be putting limitations on myself. And I don't know my exit strategy yet. Will we run this and find a way for it to run when we're ready to retire and try to collect something from it, or will we sell it? Like I don't know. And I don't know where we're going. Will we have more locations? How big will distribution get? Like there's no telling right now, and so we're just taking it one day at a time, getting settled into our new place. It's only been several months, so until we got a couple of years under our belt at the new location.
Man, I love your
I'm not
attitude.
gonna-
Like
Super chill. Huh?
yeah. I was like, man, like this
the
business
beer.
seems so chill.
Like, hey, if it happens,
like, you know
if
what?
it happens, it happens. Fuck it.
He's like, if I get at Disneyland, fuck it. I'm in Disneyland. And then he's like, I'm gonna be on the fucking boob, but that's great. I just
At least I don't have to go to the liquor store. I can just make the shit. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, man. I love what I do. Like, I made a lot more money being a welder, and but I hated going to work, and it ain't worth it. I'd
That's
rather
one thing
take the
that
small
people do.
dollar and
I
just
did that.
love my life. And brewing, there's a lot of homebrewers want to get into brewing, and if that's the path you want to go, it's great. But I always say it is a ton of work. Like there's fun moments, absolutely,
like right now.
but there's a lot of work, especially in the
It's about the weather.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tons of learning. It's the hardest dollar. It's a hard dollar to come by. It's a small dollar, but it's a fun dollar.
Yeah,
and
it's a fun dollar.
you're never gonna be driving to work like, damn.
I was gonna say when you love what you're doing, it's not work.
Exactly.
Well,
I've
they
never
do.
referred to it as my job. It's like an extension of me. It's a business, and it's the thing that I do. It doesn't feel like a job.
And your partner your best friend, or you grew up with them?
Yeah, we're good friends. We knew each other in high school. We weren't friends in high school. He did not like me, and that's fair. But we had a mutual friend, and we met at his birthday party, and a couple of our close friends did. Actually, we all came together at this one place. But and we were good friends ever since. And he really liked craft beer, and so did I. And so when we got drunk, to be honest, at a
and then
brewery
everybody
that
becomes
was
friends on that point.
yeah, right. And it was at Inland Empire Brewing Co. And the owner there was like, "Oh, you can make beer for like 25 cents a bottle." And I was like, "What?" And so we started home brewing, and then that's I hit him up like, "Hey, you want to start making beer?" He's like, "Yes." And so
We're gonna cut
Yeah.
to a commercial. Go ahead and do your thing.
Okay,
Jessica
all
Q.
right. So, a quick shout out to our sponsor, Barely Broke, a clothing apparel company. So, thank you guys for sponsoring today's show.
Go ahead. You can talk first on that. Oh, we're back.
All right, we are back. And once again, thank you, Barely Broke, for sponsoring today's show.
Yeah, we're back, everybody.
he
Appreciate
just can
that.
checked you.
Yeah, I know. I'm about to smash the can on my head after I'm done with this one because I'm back. Not just playing. This is one beer. Guys.
Whoever
One beer. I'm joking. If my family's watching, I'm playing.
It's soda. It's soda. It's soda.
It's back.
Yeah, right. Oh, your dad's gonna be mad. He's gonna be so mad. It wasn't me.
Yeah,
It's wine.
we just blame everything on
just drink
Rico. It's
wine.
always Rico's fault.
Did it? It's all Rico's fault.
I can't see.
So I wanted to jump into something else because every year there's a beer fest. Is there going to be a beer fest this year?
Yes.
So maybe we could talk a little bit about that. Now, you were the president of the Inland Empire Brewers Guild, but you are.
I was the president.
Damn, you're doing all this shit.
A
And
Sounds
you
like some
year
deep
ago.
shit. Like,
I know,
Like,
but
Keys to the city.
but the whole time he's just like, I'm at Disneyland. What the fuck, dude? You're doing some big ass shit. You're doing cool ass stuff, dude.
got the keys to the city. Got the, you know what I
He's
mean?
like, yeah,
Oh, I
I
didn't
got
tell
the
you
keys
that?
to the city. It just fell on my lap a little bit,
King Brew.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's talk about that though.
So yeah, there's a guild known as the Inland Empire Brewers Guild. It's a 501c6, so it's a non-profit organization, and so we put on a beer fest every year. I'm actually not on the board this year.
Okay.
The president is Chad from Grey Wolf Brewing, so
Oh, okay,
shout out
Chad.
to him in Norco. And but the last 2 years I was a part of it, and I was on the board with my current manager at the brewery, and the two of us, we actually swapped. I think I was president, she was vice, and then she went president and I went vice, and then this year we were like, yeah, we're off the board. It's time for fresh faces.
You're like, we gotta focus on Disneyland.
Yeah. So, but the new board is putting on a beer fest. I'm kicking myself for not remembering the date. I can.
It's
find
usually in
it.
April. I always help
It is-
advertise
I
and
think
promote
it's
it.
in
Yeah.
April, yeah. I'll
Think
check the
April.
emails of the next commercial. We'll get that date out there and give a
Okay.
little shout out.
It's in Riverside Beer Fest.
They are moving it.
Yeah.
It's
At what-
leaving.
Oh,
It's
it's not gonna be-
leaving. It's leaving Riverside.
It
It's up for a
is.
vote right now. But yeah, it's not. It's not going to be at White Park again.
Okay.
Parking was an issue.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
downtown.
Downtown Riverside is the worst.
Yeah. So
Whatever they have.
again, new board, new blood, fresh faces, and they
So
want
new
to try something
ideas.
else. And so
That's
we're like,
cool.
ah, cool, go for it.
I
And,
love that, and it's so much fun. So
It is a lot of fun.
It's a beer festival with all these different breweries from the Inland Empire,
Mm-hmm.
and you basically pay one entry fee. You get a little mug, and you walk around and try beers.
Endless
everywhere.
tastings. There's last year was 27 breweries, I think.
Yeah. Oh,
And every
so
brewery
much.
brings 2 beers, and then it's as much as you can drink for 4
It's
hours.
so fun.
Damn, as much as you can drink for 4 hours.
Yeah.
For free?
Wow.
No, well, for the one
Oh, the
entry
one- the
fee,
one-
yeah.
Which was like $45.
It was
or something.
$45 last year.
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't be surprised if it's more.
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
might.
mean,
be.
it should. I
We'll
mean,
see.
it's
But I
worth it.
can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you
Free
go to a
beer for
bar
free.
these days, 3 drinks will get you
Yeah.
$40.
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
So-
But hours of
So
drinking.
it's like a
and-
smaller Oktoberfest?
Essentially, yeah. It's just our own little beer fest we put on
Yeah.
to help. And we use the money from the proceeds to help continue to educate those members of the guild. So there's like 70 breweries in the Inland Empire. And I think 30-something of them are actually members. Not everyone's a member.
No, that's true.
But, and then we use that money to, bring in speakers. Or actually right now they're doing a boot buy. So like if you're an owner or a brewer and you're a member, right now you can go buy your brewer some boots and the guild will reimburse you. So there's little ways to help out.
Yeah, to help
and-
the breweries, exactly.
Yeah. And,
And the employees.
yeah. And
I
we
know
bring
during
in
the
speakers
pandemic-
or we'll buy samples or whatever. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's cool.
But it's fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely
a
have
good
to
time.
go check it out.
So are a lot of the beers that you make, or is it like an in-season thing type thing, like where you only can make them certain times of the season?
We do
or-
have certain beers like that. Yeah, so we have probably like 8 core beers. And these beers are like on tap at all times. That's one of them. This is one of them. But then we do have seasonals that we bust out. We'll do a holiday beer every winter, like a pumpkin beer or something. And every fall we do an Oktoberfest beer. That's our Marzen. That's another one Disneyland's picking up. We've been making that one for 6 years now. We have a label of Tom and I like characterized cheersing like Lederhosen. That's one of our favorite beers to drink and brew. But yeah, we have seasonals, core beers, and we do a lot of one-offs. And it hurts because like, we'll make a beer just out of the blue because we wanted to try something, and it was like, "Oh, it's awesome! You got to keep it on." It was like, "You said that for the last like 4. Like, I promise you'll like the next thing." Like,
Yeah.
we can't have 50 beers on tap.
Yeah.
But the one-offs are the most fun for us because the core beers are great. It's the bread and butter. It's what people love. But on the brewing side of it, as the ones that are making it, it's like going through the motions. Like, I know exactly what's going in this when, like, get it done.
And you guys aren't only making beer,
right? Because I think
Yes.
you're starting to. You guys are.
We make
have got-
seltzer too.
right? Seltzers.
We make
So if
seltzers.
you don't, if you go with a group of friends and maybe somebody doesn't prefer a beer, which
Yeah.
is crazy, but they've got seltzers.
We've got seltzers. We actually have ciders too. We don't brew
Oh,
the
yeah.
ciders, but with our licensing and having the food, we're allowed to sell other beer and wine now.
Oh,
So we can have guest beers, guest ciders, guest wines. I've got red and white wines now.
nice.
So we got
That's
a good
cool.
amount of offerings at the new place. But yeah, we only make beer and seltzer. And then we
seltzers
make
are-
our seltzer slushy. So we make a seltzer base that's like
Is that
10.
slushy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. Those are.
We
the
do it
thing.
just like the gas station, but with alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's a lot more fun.
Slurpee.
No, so you make a seltzer that's like 10 or 13%, and then you blend that with the syrup to make a 7% slushy.
Nice.
And you just serve an alcoholic slushy. It's just a slushy you'd have at a gas station.
They're
So
good
it's got-
too. They got some
Most
good
seltzers,
ones.
they're not that strong. Huh? Most seltzers are
No, but
No, most
but you
seltzers are like
use it-
5%
Yeah,
when you
I
buy them in a
understand,
can. But
Yeah.
when we're making it, we can do whatever we want. And it's just
damn.
as much
Yeah,
sugar
we
as you
want.
can fit in the kettle with yeast. I mean, it's just sugar water. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I think we have a 13% seltzer that we're trying to make to start doing slush. We've always made our slushies like 6%, and I think we're going to go towards maybe having them higher, like 9%,
Wow.
maybe even 10. Smaller pours,
That's
but
amazing.
yeah, you want that head change. You come get a slushy in the
Do
summer.
my birthday.
Yeah.
Do my birthday there.
That's right.
So like let's get into because we like to bring into more like entrepreneurship side of it too. So I mean, an entrepreneur and being you're a husband.
Yes.
So how does that work out as being an entrepreneur? Like, I don't want to get like too deep on some of this stuff, but like I know a lot of people like don't get support from everybody when they first want to start their business, or how did that work for you, being a husband and all that?
It's been good, and actually we've been married for less time than I've had the business.
Oh, okay.
But we were dating before.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were married and then I was like, hey, I'm gonna start this business, which can be very tough. Because
Yeah.
when I started the business with Tom, we didn't have liabilities, we didn't have families, we didn't own a home. So it was a good time to risk it.
Yeah.
But it's been great. Our wives have been crazy supportive and have helped out
You just keep
a lot.
them drunk, huh?
Right.
They don't drink that much beer.
No, I mean,
Can't drink the puff.
They're doing the slushies. The slushies.
I really like wine. But it's been a good time. They've helped us in many, many ways. And my situation personally, I feel like I'm very fortunate to have a wife whose parents were business owners. And so, when I have a 12-hour day or whatever, or something goes down on a weekend, I'm like, hey, I got a jet. I'll be back in an hour or two. It doesn't come as a surprise to her. She was used to her parents. They worked a laboratory, and they would run. There's certain things there that run 24/7, and sometimes hey, we're staying here tonight. We'll see you later, type of thing. And so, she's been great. And honestly, she was kind of one of the people that pushed me into it. And her family has been massive supporters of us. I don't come from a family of business owners. Although my grandfather did own his own truck, so I guess technically he was a business owner. He was. But they were entrepreneurs themselves. And so, they were the ones kind of telling Tom and I, like, you guys can do this. Like, you should try to do this. And I feel like you need that little push off the ledge. I think too many people look up to entrepreneurs like it's this thing on a pedestal. And it's like, no, it's achievable. The difference literally is just take that step. Just do it.
I almost feel
Just go for it.
I almost feel like this day and age, it's almost unnecessary. The way you get paid, like, it's like you need to have something going. You need to be. I mean, California's so expensive.
It is. I kept my job for 2 years until I could collect some kind of check from the brewery.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Wow,
and
2 years is a long time to do that.
Yeah.
And you're working.
I will
the brewery.
never work 2 jobs again.
That had
Anyone that works more than one job, you're amazing, and I don't know how you do it.
Well,
Kudos to you.
Think that, a lot of people think that you get rich off of working 2 jobs at a time. But you actually have to, if you like something and you want to do it and you're passionate, you're not giving your passion the 100% to make it. So you know what I mean? You reckon that second job is taken away from your passion, and that's what a lot of people strive from. They're doing it for the money now, not to do it to make it in what they love.
Yeah, no, I agree with that completely. And yeah, it's a battle. Like, do I go all in?
Yeah.
But if I go all in, will I be able to afford to live?
Yes,
You know, how do you figure it out? And then it's like in business, I think in the beginning, everyone's just like, that's the growing pain, that's the suffering, is the tearing of your worlds, because you got to make a choice. Eventually, I mean, you can go a long time doing two things, but it wears you down.
Yeah.
It took a toll on my relationship with my. I mean, you know, I worked all day. You know, be at work at 6, get off at 3, go to the brewery, home at 10. You know, so it was tough to do, but it was well worth it. And eventually, I quit, and it was the best decision I ever made. I'm so much happier now doing what I love, and it's a main motivator to make things work. It really is, because I can't imagine, you know, going back to. I can easily go back to my old job. I don't want to.
What was that moment when you were like, I don't want to do this anymore?
I had a throwdown with the manager.
Damn.
No, not like physical. No. Just some issues at that job with people above me, nepotism type stuff, and it just came to a head, and I almost popped my top. I went to lunch. I talked to my girlfriend, my wife now, and I said, you know, she had a job now because she was going through school, and I was like, I gotta quit.
Yeah.
I gotta quit. Are you okay with that? And she's like,
Yeah.
let's do it. And I was like, okay. And I walked in from lunch, and I was like, this is my 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I just dropped the problem. I was like, no, I'm not gonna
Done.
fight you.
Well, I feel like that's
I'm outta
like
here.
God too. You know, sometimes like you need that push, and He was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, it's time," because you might have just stayed there and stayed miserable, you know. But you needed that little extra, like, okay, I'm freaking done.
Yeah, that
And-
situation was the catalyst.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got to a point like obviously I had a lot less money, but
you're
so
happy
much
with
more
it.
time to spend on the thing that was important to me. Yeah, and happy. Yeah.
That's what it takes. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather take. Well, what's minimum wage? Like $16 now.
$16.50.
I'd take a $10 job if I'm happy versus a $16 job, and I'm waking up like you saying, driving like, fuck, I gotta go to work today. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I work 40 hours a week
You know what I mean?
minimum. Like that's a big chunk of your life to
Exactly.
to have to dread.
I've been asking some of these entrepreneurs this too. So, what? I mean, you know that now if you work at McDonald's, you're gonna be getting paid $20 an hour.
Oh yeah.
How's that gonna affect your business?
I
Are
don't
you
think it's
thinking
considered
about
fast
that?
food. Is it?
Yeah, McDonald's.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of fast food places, the minimum wage went up.
Yeah, it's
Dependent, I think, on locations or something like that.
No, it's
Yeah, 'cause we were-
it's so many employees. If you have so many
Yeah.
employees, then you have to pay.
So we were
a certain-
talking.
a certain
Yeah, we were
amount.
talking to your boy, and he said that because you have to have a certain amount of employees.
Oh, is
so
that what it is?
so
It's
so
not depending on the
he
employee.
basically they told him if he can't pay them that, they're gonna go like they can get more McDonald's.
Well, they can because that's their excuse. Well,
Yeah.
if you won't pay me, then I'm gonna go over here and get 20.
Yeah.
It made it tough because
Yeah.
obviously these fast food businesses can afford this, and people need to make a living wage. I completely understand with that, but the small businesses, I really can't afford to bring someone in at $20 an hour.
Yeah.
You come in, you kill it, and I'm like, yes, okay, like I need this person, and I could see getting them there, but like
That's
it's
why you
tight
gotta
for
tip your
us.
beer tenders.
It's tight for us, and we're still considered a small business, and we are, and I just can't hire at $20 an hour. I wish I could. I wish all my people could make amazing money, but there's a reality to what I can afford.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah,
reality.
it's a small business, yeah.
I mean, it's the same thing with us. It's going to affect every business. I mean, it's like they're almost trying to push out the small businesses
Yep.
because it's like, it's always been talked about, Like
Yeah.
they really want to, the big corporations just want to stomp on the small businesses.
Get rid of the
This is
middle
a
class.
really
Well, I think it's an
big
important thing to
deal.
remember too when you hear legislation come out and they say corporations. Remember that 90% of businesses are small businesses, and we're corporations.
Yeah.
I'm not a billionaire.
Yeah.
I have millions in the bank. Like it's not the same thing. There should be a way to differentiate. And I think they've done it. And I think that was why they brought up the how many employees do you have, because they're not trying to kill us too hard. But yeah. It made the job market tough. It took us a while to find the right people for the kitchen, And when we were,
Is it already kind of affecting you right now? Are they talking about
no,
that?
we're good right now.
Okay.
No, I mean everything's great, and the dudes love it there. For what I know, I hope they're being honest with me. If they don't, please let me know, and we'll work on it. But when we put out applications for the new location, we got tons and tons of applications for a server because your tipped position, but the kitchen, they trickled in like one at a time for a while. But I also think what plays into, they called it the Great Resignation, and it's hard to find people to hire right now, is things like what we're doing right now. So many people just took it upon themselves to go make money for themselves, and so there's just a lot less of the population applying for jobs because they're just trying to find another way to make it. And so while it makes it tough on us at times, it's kind of cool that I think entrepreneurship's at a higher level than it's ever been.
I feel
as
like
far
it
as
is out here in
percentage of the
California,
population
for
getting
sure.
into it, absolutely.
Either they're entrepreneur or they're not working. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's kind of what's going on.
But we found who we needed, and we got great people, and it's been
So
great.
you see how hard it is now, as far as like the business and everything. So is like the brewery something that you would want to like leave your kid? Like is that like a plan? Is it like a legacy type thing, or is it something that you want to sell and just make as much as you can? And
I haven't landed on that. I've actually considered it. Like I've thought about it, and I think where I am with that is it's going to depend on my kid. You watching this, Audrey? If she wants to be that and she wants it for the right reasons, then I could see working her into it. She's not going to come in and do what I do. You'd be sweeping floors first. But, I don't want to force it on them. So, I'd love for them to be entrepreneurs or a business owner one day. But if they just want the brewery because they want the freedom that comes with being a business owner or an entrepreneur, or that flexibility, those are the wrong reasons. Or if she thinks, I'm going to get rich doing this, those are the wrong reasons. Like, you got to love it, you got to want it, or it's not going to grow. Yeah. And so I saw that in my last job. We just talked about that nepotism a little bit. Someone that was a son of the owner came in above my head after I'd been there for 8 years, making a lot more money than me. And the only reason he did, and I spoke with him about it, was he liked the lifestyle that it provided. He didn't want to own a fabrication shop. It was never something that he was passionate about. And it's like, that's not going to last. Because when things get hard or the money's not there, you're going to quit.
Exactly.
And so I care more about the legacy of Route 30 than I do the legacy of my family. So if my kids want to be a part of the brewery, they got to want it for the right reasons. And I'm not necessarily going to tell them that. I'm just going to kind of watch. And if they, hey, Dad, I want to do what you do, like, okay, well, let's look at it and go from there.
So something that you're going to keep close. It's not going to be like, oh, I'm gonna make this much money and I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, if I try, man,
I mean,
they grow up.
Somebody.
They grow up to be shitheads. I'm not putting them in charge of my business. I'm gonna sell that thing.
But if somebody came in and offered you the right amount of money,
If the number's right, we might consider it.
yeah.
You
you could always start another brewery, right? So it's like
I don't
a
know
lot
if
of
I'd
people
start
do
another
that.
brewery. I'm going into services. No, but at this time, I think we're still too small for that. Like, Tom and I are still young. If someone came in right now, the number would have to be pretty high. Because, again, it's like, I don't want to sell my business. So if you want my business, you're going to pay more than it's worth because it's got to be worth it for me to walk away. And I got 20 years, 30 years left before I'm ready to retire. What am I going to do? So I think at this time, we're holding on to it. Absolutely. And we're not done growing the brand.
Have people came in offering you money for it?
No.
No.
One time. 2 times. I take it back. 2 times. One time, no. The other time, yes. And that's what afforded us to actually buy the new location that we're at. It was a very similar situation. What I did to let in a brewery is how I got the other brewery. So, and it was well timed. Honestly, that was a lot of luck.
Well, the second time they didn't buy your brewery, like your brand. They just
We
came
sold
and
the
bought
assets.
actual-
I should say that we didn't sell the business. We sold the assets that we owned and
The
assigned the
location.
lease. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how long ago was that? That was recent.
That was last January,
Oh, okay.
over a year ago.
And how's that working out?
For the new guys?
Yeah.
They're killing
They're
it.
doing
Oh,
good,
really?
right?
They're doing great. Their Instagram is off the charts, man. Carbon Nation Brewing, shout out. They're great. They're good dudes. They're actually longtime regulars of ours for many years.
Oh, wow.
So when he approached me, I was like, really? Okay.
Why is he coming every day? He was studying the layout.
Right.
It's like Matt,
Why is he here?
scoping the place out.
So, but he had, I don't remember how it started. I think he texted me one day just to see if it was an option. Because again, we weren't looking to sell. And it was like, well, here's a number. And he's like, well, I'm in the right ballpark. And then we eventually, obviously, negotiated to a number that worked for everyone. But yeah.
So when you guys, so he has a different name of his brewery.
Yeah, he didn't buy the business. He just bought the things we owned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So again, I didn't sell it for as much as my business was worth.
Like
I
the
just sold it
equipment
what the assets were. Yeah.
Because
So
he upgraded basically. He
Basically,
went to another
yeah.
bigger location.
Yeah.
So it was like perfect timing. They needed to grow.
I took my desk and my kegs and I left. And he got the bar and all the tables, all the permits that existed there, the lease, our refrigerators, the brewing system,
wow.
the tanks.
Yeah, because then when you bought the new brewery, they had permits
we did the same
already,
thing.
right?
Yep,
So you
it
had
was the
their
same thing.
permits
They
and-
closed, they shut
That's
down
right.
the business, and they just sold their stuff to us. So yeah, they were asset sales, not business.
Is it like a club, like the whole like liquor license, all that, or entertainment license?
No,
is
we
that how
actually
it
don't.
works?
We avoid a lot of that. Thank goodness. The liquor licenses are very tough to come by, very expensive. A brewer's bond is $600.
That's what it's
Damn.
called. It's called a brewer's bond.
Yeah, with California brewer's bond,
And just no liquor. Is that
and
what it
with you need one with the federal too. No liquor. We don't produce alcohol,
Yeah.
or we don't distill.
is? Okay.
We don't distill. We ferment. So
Yeah.
And is it the type of atmosphere where people have birthdays there at your?
yeah, man, you coming by?
He's like, I'm trying to have a fucking birthday party.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
We could throw a birthday party.
Yeah.
Our birthdays are coming up in April,
Yeah,
both of
we're
ours.
like
25th,
I actually was
28th.
just there. They had a mixer. They host a lot of different events. Do you guys have any events
we had the
coming up you wanna
chamber
talk
for
about?
a mixer. At this time, our event, we had a lot of events at the beginning of the year. I don't know what's on the books right now, other than the thing tomorrow where we're tasting a beer. So Riverside has a sister
Are we?
city. Come on by, 10 a.m. 6
10
p.m.
a.m.,
6
he's
p.m.
like-
in Germany.
He's like, man, I gotta get up till 2.
But yeah, we've hosted like mixers and things for the chamber. We did the summit for the pit group in Riverside, the young professionals of Riverside. And we've had people in December. We did a ton of holiday parties for businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
So having larger spaces afforded those opportunities. Because before we were real small, we had like 40 seats, and it was in a tiny hallway type
Is
thing.
it like kind of like the outside brewery, or is it inside? It's like an
indoor
We're
now.
mostly inside,
yeah.
but we do have a small patio.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got like 8 picnic tables out on the front patio.
Yeah.
So
Man, we were running out of time, but I appreciate you coming on. This
yeah,
was
no
a cool
problem.
episode.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dope.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. If you could just look at the camera and say "shed the sheep,"
Shed the sheep.
that's part of our slogan right here. Now we'll all do it.
Shed
Shed
the
the
sheep.
So, House Over Baz. I'm Jacob Casas,
I'm Rico Savage.
I'm Jessica Q.
and we are out.